Your Majesties, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for always returning. Trust you and yours are well, and you will loving yourself and others like always. Many thanks to all of you for the support you give to the channel. Thank you so much to our channel members, to our anonymous supporters, to all of you, my esteemed subscribers. You are loved, celebrated, and appreciated. So today, I'll take you down the Sahel because something interesting is going on down the Sahel. You know, when I talk about the Sahel, I'm so happy because Sahel have become my favorite place to talk about, of course, because this is a place I talk about with ease. And yeah, you know, while this whole coup started initially down the Sahel, and of course I was covering that a lot, and I get some people who feel like, what is this woman saying? What do you know about politics? All right, because I was saying that these guys who are taking over are really there to help their people. All right, I didn't see any vision. I'm not a prophetess. No, no. But that's with what was going on at that time. With the way people were agitating for freedom. With the way people were struggling to see that their country is free from puppet leadership. I just knew that this is the turning point for these Sahel countries. And if other countries in the continent would take the step, would follow the step of these Sahel countries, a lot will change in the continent. By now, a lot would have changed if other countries followed their steps. But anyway, so that was it. And some people were like, do these juntas think that leading a people or politics is like going for a war? This is a different thing. They can't do this. They can't rule people. Give them some months, they're going to run away. It's not easy to rule people. This is what some of you were saying. All right. Now, in Guinea, the junta had dissolved her appointed government. This was the government that they appointed after they took over from the puppet leaders, right? After they took over, they appointed a civilian government, all right, to rule people, to see to the affairs of people, like some head of states, they appointed ministers, governors, all right, civilians. You get that? And these guys are thinking that it's gonna be normal. It's gonna be like the old days. It's gonna be same when the puppets were on seats. But they were wise though, you know. When they elected them initially, they were calm, they were loyal, they were like, okay, let's follow along. And after some months, their real colors came up. And that's why I keep saying this. These leaders are elected out of us. So before we open our mouth and say this one is bad, we should look at ourselves. Are we bad? Are we good? Because if we are good, we'll produce good leaders. If we are bad, we'll produce bad leaders. And that's why I keep emphasizing on home training that we give to our children. If we don't train our children to love, we don't train our children to respect people's opinion, we don't train our children to be sincere, transparency, they grow this way and they grow with the community like this. And this is how we get leaders in the future. Because these leaders have parents, they have a family, they came from a home. So the more we neglect the family, the more we don't care about how these children grow. Our own is just to give birth to them. We don't care about how to train these children. The more our communities will be in mess in the future. And this is a fact, this is for a fact, whether you take it or you leave it.
On national television, Guinea's military junta announcing the dissolution of the government it appointed. The junta is freezing the accounts of all ministers, seizing their travel documents and stripping them of their vehicles, bodyguards and assistants.
For an outsider, it's worrying. But for a Guinean, it was expected.
Guinea's businessman Alpha Diallo in neighboring Senegal welcomes the decision.
You do have some ministers who, I'm sorry to say, but you know, a year ago, 2 years ago, they were living in a rented house, you know, or in a rented one bedroom, and then now they're living in a $1 million house. So how do you justify that? You know, in a country where 60% of the population, you know, doesn't make $2 or $3 a day.
Last week, Guinea's justice minister called for an audit of government expenses, suspecting ministers of mishandling public funds. Allegations of corruption were published online shortly after mobile internet was either limited in some places or cut off in others, with no apparent reason given. The government spokesperson says access to the internet is not a right. This is badly affecting people, says Umu, who uses her phone to sell fashionable bags and talk to her family.
My internet does not work. There is no connection.
In the normally bustling markets of the capital, vendors struggle to find customers. Prices of basic necessities have increased, so has the cost of fuel. Anger is brewing against the junta's management of the country.
No work, no money, no one is buying, and we can't get rid of our stock. Some of it goes to waste. We are suffering from power cuts and can't stock anything, but the worst is that we are not selling our goods.
The decision to sack the government comes after Guinea's junta raised $7 billion from donors at a conference in Dubai.
I'm hoping this is an opportunity.
For Jallo, people in this mineral-rich country with enormous untapped resources should not be living in poverty or profit going into the hands of politicians. Like most Guineans, he hopes for a new government that can fulfill the West African nation's potential.
Breaking news. Tonight, Africa's coup season extends into 2024 as another West African military seizes power in the country of Guinea and dissolves the French-backed government.
The military in Guinea, which seized power more than 2 years ago, has dissolved the interim government in the West African nation and said it will appoint a new administration. The dissolution of the government was officially declared via a presidential decree, which was read on state TV on Monday by the Secretary General of the Presidency, Brigadier General Amara Kamara. No reason for the dissolution was provided, and the date for the formation of a new government remains unknown. The dissolved government's ministers have been ordered to surrender their passports and official vehicles immediately, and their bank accounts have been frozen until further notice. The junta has also issued strict instructions to security agencies to seal all the country's borders until government ministries have been fully handed over to the junta. Lower-level officials have been given temporary charge of state ministries until the appointment of a new government. The country had experienced a prolonged period of political tension, sparked by Condé's highly controversial attempt to secure a third term in the presidential election of 2020. Despite the country's two-term limit for presidency, Condé emerged victorious after pushing through a new constitution in March 2020.
Your Majesties, that is it from that end. The truth still remains that sometimes when you give people the liberty to prove themselves, they prove you wrong. And this is exactly the case of Guinea, right? The military juntas gave opportunity to a group of people that they appointed as a government, all right? And these same people do not value the mantle that was given to them, the mantle of leadership that was given to them, thereby making the civilians think that the juntas are the ones that are the problem, not knowing that the civilian leaders, the civilian governments are the ones that are the problem. And I'm just happy with the steps that was taken, all right? The accounts were frozen, the ability to travel also was taken away. And this is also a best option for them to investigate these people and see how their money comes in. But a lot of them will have something. Corruption in Africa is not something that is labeled to a group. This is how bad those in politics have turned the whole thing. Like, they've messed up politics. They've messed up politics. Just look at the little opportunity given. Within 1-2 years, they've thrown it away. So you were living in a rented apartment of some thousands, and now you're living in a multi-billion dollars building. Just within 2 years, or roughly 1 year and some months after your appointment. So where is the money coming from? So they are okay to deprive their fellow brothers and sisters so they can have luxury. They feel it's okay. And this is a country that is also rich in minerals. Why should the citizens be suffering? So this is it. This is it. I just felt like sharing this with you because some people are ready, all right, to take advantage of situations like this and go with propaganda. go with propaganda. It is not the military who are doing this to their civilians. It is the civilians that are even doing it to their fellow civilians. And it beats my imagination that we can have people who don't even care about the well-being of their fellow human being. It's quite unfortunate. This is within. It's not far away. Alright? Because we'll be shouting, oh, the Europeans did this to us. The Europeans did that to us. We ourselves, are we not looking at what we are doing to ourselves? So these are questions that come in most of the times that we have to answer. I want you to leave your thoughts and opinion there at the section, and I'll see you in my next one. Until then, love yourself, love others, stay safe, stay positive, always your majesty. Bye for now.